All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our team call. Today is Tuesday, January 26th. And today I am super excited to welcome a guest speaker to our call, Mr. Ryan Chapman. Ryan, Emma, and I all met actually through the Seattle Market Council. And so for those of you who don't know what Market Council is, basically, cities basically have like a local team of coaches that help put on events like Super Saturday and just kind of like to have like a local community of Beachbody coaches. And so that's where we all connected and met. But Ryan is like a kick-ass coach. He has been a two-time elite coach in 2013 and 2014. He is a lifetime 7-star diamond, which is pretty amazing. And you guys, like, check this out. He's a Success Club All-Star legend 45 months in a row. 45 months in a row that he has hit Success Club and helped at least 3 people, which is pretty amazing. And we all know that the baseline of this business is Success Club and, making sure that you're helping your 3 people every month. So, that is kind of what we're going to be chatting a little bit about today, how to invite and share this opportunity, invite people to your challenge groups and all that kind of stuff in a way that is genuine and doesn't feel like salesy, because I know that that's something that a lot of you guys are always concerned about, and really just having the right mindset when it comes to inviting, because really it's one of the 3 vital behaviors for a reason, you guys. So it's super important, and I'm excited to have Ryan on and have him chat with us about this topic and give you guys some insight so that you can help yourself and your team get better at inviting, get more comfortable with it, so that you can start smashing your goals and get a super awesome streak of Success Club just like Ryan. So with all that being said, Ryan, I'm going to pin your video and kind of turn it over to you. Let's just get going with it. Let's see, where are you at? Here you are. Boop. There you go.
Are we good?
All right. You should be pinned now.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that introduction. Yeah. Interesting story too, not to try to add to the, to tooting my own horn or anything, but the 45 months you talked about with Success Club, there was, the only reason it's only 45 is because one month I moved my, when I was a young coach, I moved my HD order to my wife's business center thinking I was smart. And I hit Success Club that month, but I didn't hit Success Club because I didn't have my own 90 PV HD order. And it would be something like 52 months or something like that if I had not done that. But the reason I, just to say that, I haven't missed Success Club since like November of 2011. And my mindset has really been since that time that it's non-negotiable. I literally, my mindset when I go into every month is that a bad month for me is when I only hit Success Club 5. Like that's the low, and a lot of people are setting their bar at, I hope I can get to Success Club 5 this month. And from the time I was a young coach, when I heard about Success Club and I made it the first time, like I didn't actually have a goal to make it the first time. I just made it, I was doing challenge groups and I made Success Club, and my upline was like, hey, you made Success Club. I'm like, what's Success Club? But then when I heard about it and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That is something that I can, kind of measure my success with. Then I just said, okay, bad month is like the low is Success Club 5, and what I'm shooting for is Success Club 10 every month, right? It's like, here's where if I have a bad month and I barely make what I want to make, I'm 5. If I have a good month, I'm 10 or higher, and, just set your mind like that. Like, your mindset is so huge on things that you don't even realize that just that flip of a mindset where you actually say that instead of saying, I really am going to try to make 5 this month, is a huge difference. So that wasn't really exactly what I was going to talk about on this call, but, since you mentioned the Months in Success Club, that's really is my goal every month. So I'll give you guys a little bit of backstory on me though, like how I got into Beachbody, and then we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is inviting without being icky. I hate the high pressure sales. If you've ever had the spam email, or I know a lot of your team is Instagram people, so if you've ever had the bots that are going around like putting things like, oh, I adore I adore you're not even like a real person. And, like all kinds of stuff that's going on out there that I just feel is like, this is not what this is about. Like if you don't want to be that person that's like spamming people and trying to find high pressure sales tactics and icky stuff, like if you want to be able to feel confident about your invites and feel like feel good and be able to sleep at night about what you're doing, then that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. So just backstory on me. I was 100 pounds overweight for a good portion of my life. I was 275 pounds back in 2003, 2004. I lost 100 pounds by restricting my calories to 1,500 and playing 90 minutes or more of racquetball a day. And I just like worked out like crazy and ate as little as possible. And it worked, the weight came off, but I hated it. Like it was horrible. But I made it work and I lost 100 pounds. And then in 2009, actually after losing 100 pounds, I got into triathlons and I started doing triathlons. A buddy challenged me to do a triathlon and I did a sprint one in Seattle. Loved it. It's like, oh, this is amazing. And if anybody is a triathlete, they know that, or even a runner, just doing half marathons or 5Ks or 10Ks, that when you cross the line to that first one, you're like, when's the next one? And then you train and you're like, why do I do this again? But then when you cross the line, every time you cross the line, you're like, when's the next one? Right. And so I just kept going through that. And I went from 5K or from sprint triathlon to Olympic to half Ironman. And then in 2012, I did a full Ironman. But in 2009, we had twin girls and I couldn't go on 3-hour bike rides and 4-hour bike rides anymore and do all my triathlon training because I had to be home with the kids to help my wife because she had 2 tiny babies. And it just was not looked well upon to leave the house for 3 hours at that time. So I went on eBay actually, and I always tell the story when I'm on other team calls because I bought my first P90X copy off of eBay. Okay. And I didn't actually know my upline and I didn't know anything about coaching. But even if, I tell that story because even if someone buys their copy off eBay or Amazon, they could be your next 7-star 2-time elite diamond coach. Okay, don't give up on those people. Let them in your challenge group or whatever. Now, if they're buying from another coach and they're working with another coach, let them be with that other coach. But if they buy off of eBay and they're like, well, it was cheaper, they just don't get it yet. Okay. I didn't get it at that time. I was just like, wherever I can buy it for the cheapest, And then I met my upline after doing P90X. I was following the P90X Facebook page and they said, what do you use P90X to cross train for? And I typed in triathlon on there because I was finding that I was getting faster at my triathlons now after, I could actually leave the house again because I had the P90X strength. I had the core strength, had all this stuff. And so I typed in triathlon and my upline coach, who was also a triathlete, Dave Ward, his wife is one of the founding coaches. He found me on the P90X page, friend requested me. We started talking triathlon, started talking P90X, and I became a coach in early 2010. Then I basically went Emerald in about 2 or 3 months, and I stayed at Emerald and dropped out of Emerald and in and out of Emerald all the way until the end of 2011. So from February of 2010 to October, November of 2011, I was an in and out Emerald coach. Over the course of 2011, I signed a few coaches, so I was a little more stable of an Emerald, but I wasn't Diamond yet. And in the end of 2011, Beachbody launched the Beachbody Challenge, the challenge packs. That was the first time we had the idea of challenge groups as a corporate thing. Like there were groups out there doing them, and that's why corporate picked it up, right? It was like, I think it was like Platinum girls and stuff like that that were all doing challenge groups. Are you guys part of Platinum, Alexa? Yeah, you guys are all in Christine Dwyer's downline. Yeah, so I think it was Platinum that started the whole challenge group idea in the network, and Beachbody was like, well, that's working. So they like launched it out to the whole network, and I was like, at the time, apparently I'm not the smart one here. Christine's team is the smart one, but I was sitting there at work while I was a Beachbody coach, holding like Biggest Loser contests at work, because everybody knew me at the time as like the guy who had lost 100 pounds. And so I was like, well, I'll help you lose 100 pounds. Let's do a contest. And everybody would throw $50 into a pot. And then the winner would get like 70%, and second place would get 20%, and third place would get 10%. And I just facilitated it. I took everybody's weights, put it in a spreadsheet. I mentioned I was an engineer, right? I put it all in a spreadsheet and everybody got a graph and all kinds of stuff. And I like a light bulb just like went on, and I was like, challenge group, I already do that. Like I already do challenge groups, right? And so I just like in November of 2011, I got on the phone with Dave Ward for our weekly call that we had been having all year, and I had done nothing. And he's like, hey, there's this idea of challenge groups, and he explained it to me. And literally the next week I had to start 2 challenge groups because they were telling us to do 5 people in a challenge group at the time. And I had to start 2 because I got 10 people all on Shakeology with the challenge group idea. And so I think I made like, I don't think I was selling challenge packs as much as just Shakeology. So I think I had something like 11 or 14 Success Club points. Never had made Success Club in my life, you know? And it was like challenge group. Okay, I'll do that. And boom. Okay, I'm in Success Club. And that I have not missed it since that day. I just went and started thinking of new types of challenge groups to do. In early 2011 or 2012, so like a couple months later, I started the idea of 90-10 nutrition, which basically I took Mishy's ladder, which is like 5 tiers of food. I don't know if you guys know Mishy's ladder. Like he talks about it in P90X. We don't talk about it anymore in Beachbody, but Mishy's ladder is still out there. And it's 5 tiers of food. And I said, okay, we're going to eat 90% of our diet off of the first 2 tiers, the top 2 tiers, the best food. We're going to eat 10% off of the 3 and 4 and nothing from tier 5, which is all the junk. And I just literally made that up. And I think I got like 20 people in that group all on Shakeology. And that is like its own brand now. Like 90-10 has a website and a logo and all kinds of stuff. And we have our own tiers where we've kind of moved things around and everything. But I just got like really creative with challenge groups. And I just started thinking of different ways to do challenge groups right now. And I still do that today. Like right now, we just reached 800 people in a 10-day clean eating company. And we're just basically giving people 10 recipes that are comfort food that are cleaned up. And it's going crazy, like 800 people in a group doing this 10-day free thing. And that's just kind of what I've done. I've also done a lot of things like plans where I take Beachbody programs and integrate them with triathlon and, you know, give people plans. And then I get a lot of triathletes that way. But that's kind of my Beachbody story. Okay. So that's kind of how I run my business. But let's talk about inviting people to all these things, right? So how do you invite people to challenge groups? First of all, the first thing that we need to talk about is that the number one key to inviting anybody to anything, and actually one of the keys to your business overall, is confidence. Confidence is so key to being able to invite people to things. And you can't fake confidence. If you are not confident and you're unsure about what you're offering somebody, or if you're thinking that you have to try to convince them to do something rather than offering them an opportunity to do something, then they're going to see that. They will feel that. They would not be able to tell you that if you ask them, can you feel that? But they feel it. Like they know that you're not sure and that you're not someone that they want to follow into something, right? They're someone that they feel like you're someone that's kind of unsure about what you're doing, and they're going to sit back and watch for a while before they jump in, right? That's what they're saying, which is why it's not now, right? I don't know if you ever heard that, like no's are really not nows. But a lot of times it's just because you haven't shown people that they can trust you. You haven't shown people the confidence that makes somebody say, I want to go do that, right? And so before I talk about like some analogies and some thoughts on inviting people to stuff, I wrote something on Facebook the other day to kind of define what I think of as confidence. And because I think a lot of people think of confidence in the wrong way. Some people think of confidence and arrogance together. And they're not the same thing. Confidence and arrogance are not the same thing. Confidence and conceit are not the same thing. You don't have to be conceited and arrogant to be confident, right? It's not about showing off. It's not about being conceited. It's not about being arrogant, right? To be confident. So I wrote down like 5 things that I think a confident person is. That some of these are intuitive. Some of them are things that maybe you haven't really thought about a confident person being these things, okay? So if you have your pen and paper, you can write these down. Also, you could go to my wall and you can find this post from the 23rd. So it's like 3 days ago that I wrote this. Okay, so number 1, a confident person is a person that cares what other people think because they respect other people and value their opinions. Not because they feel like they aren't good enough or smart enough or fit enough or thin enough or whatever you want to insert there. Okay. So I don't know if does that make sense? What I'm saying there is like, confidence doesn't mean you don't care what other people think, but it also isn't that you care what other people think because you feel like you're not good enough. So you're confident and you say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, I'm fit enough, and gosh darn it, people like me, but is everybody too young for that? Or is that Stuart Smalley? No. But it's not that kind of like, that kind of thing. It's about caring about what people think because you value them as a person. Okay. So you can care what people think and be confident. And some people think, well, if I'm confident, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. I do care what you think about me because I value you as a person and your opinion. Right. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is, it's a person that's both sure of where they're headed and willing and open to listen to new ideas and direction. So I said that the type of confidence that I think of is neither closed-minded nor wishy-washy and willing to change direction at the first sign of resistance or criticism. So the confidence acknowledges that you don't know everything, which can seem contradictory, right? But it's not contradictory. So it kind of goes along with number one, that you value other people's opinions. So you're confident enough to be able to say to them, you might have a point there and I might need to change direction, but you're also not wishy-washy and like, oh no, like maybe I'm not doing the right thing and unsure of yourself. In fact, I think confidence is actually like one of the best signs of confidence is the ability to say, I might be wrong. That's actually confident, and I think people get that wrong. Somebody says, could you repeat the second one? Yeah, I'll repeat what I said here. So it's a person that's both sure of where they're headed and willing and open to listen to new ideas and directions, which is the type of confidence that I think of as neither closed-minded nor wishy-washy. So you're not wishy-washy, like changing direction whenever somebody comes along and says, you're in a pyramid scheme, and you're like, oh crap, I got to quit because like somebody said that I'm in a pyramid scheme or something like that. But you're also willing to listen to maybe somebody who's got some knowledge on that. Like, okay, what was your experience with that? Tell me your experience. You're not just going to be like, snap back with, no, it's not a pyramid scheme. No, the blah, 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 you're going to listen and say, I'm confident enough in this that I can listen to you without changing my mind. Right. So there's a confidence there that also is not closed-minded. Number three is a confident person is a person that embraces failure and even criticism with a learning attitude. So a person says, how can I become better because of this failure instead of I'm no good, look how I failed, right? So that's confidence to say, you know what, I failed. How can I learn from that? And how can I get better because of that instead of I'm such a piece of crap for not being able to do that. And look at how bad I failed. Okay, so that's number three. I just want to make sure no one's needing repeats on that stuff. Okay. Number four, a person is both confident enough to express their beliefs, opinions, and graceful enough to not force them upon others or make others feel less important. So this goes along with number one, where I said that you value people. So you can be confident about your opinions on things and confident about your direction without making other people who disagree with you feel less important or feel stupid because of it, right? So there's all these pieces to confidence. It's not arrogance. It's not like I know everything. That's not confidence. And then the last one of my favorite quotes is by C.S. Lewis. He says, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. So you see the distinction there? I said in my post, I said I maybe could have replaced the whole post with just that quote, because it kind of sums up the whole idea that people think that being humble is thinking less of yourself. And they think of like confidence, humility. If I'm confident, I think I'm all that. If I'm humble, I think I'm not all that. And that's not what it means. Humility means thinking about yourself less. thinking about other people more, right? So you can be confident and humble at the same time, right? So that's what, if you invite people to this business with confidence and humility at the same time, you're going to do really well with it. If you invite with confidence and arrogance, you're going to maybe attract other people who are confident and arrogant, but you're not going to probably attract the kind of people that you want, right? You want people who will listen to your ideas. You want people who are confident. You want people who are confident and humble. So be confident and humble. Okay. Does that all make sense? Yes. Confidence and humility at the same time. You know, they're not contradictory. They go together. They go with each other. Okay. All right. So now when you're inviting people to our business, I have two analogies that I have in my team training. And this is how I teach my team the mindset for inviting. So, you know, there's so many different, like, where to find people to invite and, you know, what to invite to. Like I talked about the clean eating comfort food challenge, and there's 5-day clean eating groups, and there's all this stuff. You know, there's no one way to do it. You guys do Instagram way more than my team does. And Alexa's going to come talk about Instagram on my team call, because that's something that I want my team to know more about, because I don't know anything about Instagram. I know very little. You know, like I'm out there just doing like the little tidbits I got from Super Saturday and going, wow, look, there's people on here. Oh, I didn't even know there's people here. So like there's all these different ways, but I can teach you the mindset that you use when you do invite people. Okay. So first one is farming versus hunting. Okay. So a lot of people treat inviting like hunting. Now, I don't want to offend any hunters out there, because I know there's a lot of work to hunting and everything. You know, like there's, you know, hunting's not just sitting up in a tree and hoping that a deer will walk by and you shoot it. But if you think about like, especially how a non-hunter thinks about hunting, that's pretty much how they think about it, right? You sit up in a tree stand, and if an animal walks by, you shoot them, right? Now, some of y'all are hunting with AK-47s. That's the spam coach, okay? The spam coach is like, look, prospects, like just hitting everything that they can possibly hit, right? And it's just yuck, right? Like, this business is not like hunting. You don't sit up in a tree stand, wait for prospects to walk by and shoot your message at them, okay? It's more like farming, okay? So you become a farmer instead of a hunter. So a farmer has to prepare the ground, which is, you know, you could think of, there's a lot of different ways you could run that analogy, but I think of like preparing the ground as the work I do on myself, right? So I have to be a product of the product, and I've got to be drinking my Shakeology and doing my workouts, and I got to be doing my personal development so that I have the right mindsets and so that I can actually even help people. So it's like preparing the ground. And then you got to plant the seeds, right? Which is like going out there and making those little invites, and maybe it's that post about your fitness, or that post about how good you're eating, or that post about your personal development that plants those little seeds in people's minds that this person they've got some things together, like they're making some progress. Look at that progress pic they just showed, or whatever. Those are those little seeds, right? And then you got to water the seeds, right? You got to take care of the crop. And then little seeds start to sprout up, and you got to weed, and you got to take care of it, and you cultivate it, and you grow like a relationship with your crop. And then you harvest it, right? And the harvest is like when you've developed that relationship and you're like, hey, you know what? I've been watching you in my challenge group, and you would be an amazing coach because you're inspirational, and you're this and you're that and you're this. You're amazing. You should join me. That's the time of the harvest, right? Because you develop this relationship. They've been in this challenge group with you or whatever, and it's farming versus hunting, okay? So that's think of it like that. Like when you meet someone new on Instagram that's using the same hashtag as you or whatever, you know, I don't know how to do it, but whatever you guys do to find those people on Instagram, right? They're using the same hashtag, and you start that relationship. It's not like, you know, sometimes you meet someone and the relationship goes really fast. They're quick bloomers, right? And they come right into your challenge group. They sign right up to be a coach. But most of the time, it takes development of a relationship in order for that to work, okay? So that's the first one. The second analogy that I have in my team training all the time is the train analogy, Okay. So there's also this is very similar. Has anybody ever heard the coffee, the waitress giving coffee analogy? Anybody? Alexa, have you ever heard that one? This is kind of about being not emotionally attached to the outcome of your invites. So the one way that they do it is they say, it's like a waitress who offers some people at the table some more coffee and they say no. She doesn't go back and be like, oh, I'm such a terrible person. They didn't want the coffee that I offered them. They're like, well, they didn't want coffee. So I'm going to go offer it to the other table that I have over here, and it's just not that big of a deal. And you could think of your invites like that, right? But I like one that's similar, but a little bit better. And that's the train analogy. And it's like, I think of, I'm on a train and there's several parts to this analogy. The first one is that a train doesn't go through stoplights with lots of intersections and have lots of turns, right? A train's going somewhere on a track and it's pretty much only going there. There's not just like random, like, oh, let's stop at the, let's just pull off the road over here. It's going to where it's going. And so think of your journey as a coach, as a challenger, at, fitness, all that stuff, that you're on this train and where you're going is amazing. Like you're going to Awesomeville, you're going to Result City, whatever, like you're going somewhere that's amazing. And every time you stop at a train stop, you offer the seats next to you on the train to some people. And you say, hey, I'm going to Result City. It's going to be amazing. I've already been on this great journey. Back here, we stopped here. Back here, we stopped here. This is what happened to me. We're headed here. Do you want to go with me? And if they say no, you go, okay, no worries, right? You have like this huge opportunity that you're offering someone. And you're not like trying to go through some kind of convincing process where you're like, let me convince them to get on a train that they don't want to get on. Let me convince them to go to a place that they don't want to go. You're offering them an opportunity to go somewhere that you want to go, right? You're like, this is where I want to go. Do you want to go with me? You could think of it, just any trip. Like maybe you live in Denver, Colorado, and Colorado Springs is like an hour and a half south. And every Saturday you go down to Colorado Springs to like the coolest club that ever existed. And it's just an amazing party every Saturday night. And every Saturday night you offer 3 different people a ride down to Colorado Springs to go to this awesome party every week. And you're like, you can come or you don't come. I'm going either way. Like I'm going to the party. And if you don't come, you're going to be here in Denver and I'm going to be at the party. If you come, then you're going to be at the party with me, right? And if they say no, then your mindset is, well, that wasn't very smart of them, but I'm still going to the party, right? And if you think about inviting like that, what I love about that is when you think about it like that, it's so enticing to other people because they don't feel like you're trying to talk them into something they don't want. You're offering them an opportunity for something that you like, that you think they might like too, right? And that's so different than how most people think of sales. Most people think of sales as, I have to lay out all the reasons why this is the right thing to do and all the facts about this product and all the things, somebody will say, well, what's Shakeology about? And they want to like take a picture of the back of the bag and explain what ashwagandha root is. And it's like, nobody cares what ashwagandha root is. They want to know what it did for you. They want to know why you like it. They want to know why you care. Why are you drinking it? Well, because it's awesome. And this is what happened. And this is how it worked for me. And this, like I always go to story. If somebody asks me, does it have ashwagandha root in it? I'm not going to be like, well, let me tell you a story. I'll say, yes, it has ashwagandha root in it. Like I'll answer questions, but my first place that I go is not facts and like all these, the back of the bag. I go to story. This is what happened to me. This is where I'm going. Do you want to come with me? Right? So those are my 2 main analogies on inviting, just to get your mindset right, is that you're developing relationships with people like you're a farmer developing a crop, and you're offering opportunities to people, not trying to convince them to do something, right? And you're doing that with that confidence and humility that we talked about. So now it's all easy, right? And you have the confidence and the humility and the analogies, so now you just go do it, right? That's it.
I love it. I mean, that was freaking awesome. I took so many good notes, you guys. Couple of things that I really love both of those analogies. Actually, I'd never heard of either of those before, but I really loved what you said about not trying to convince people, because I feel Like that is something that I've talked to a lot of coaches on the team. Like, well, I can't convince anybody to join my challenge group. I can't convince anybody to take the plunge with Shakeology. And I always say, like, you shouldn't be convincing anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should be trying to, like, you know, convince them to, you know, do stuff. I don't know. I love this mindset shift, because I really do think that changing your mindset with inviting can totally take your business to the next level. So I really, really liked all of that. I love the farming versus hunting analogy as well, because I think that that's something too that we can kind of get, you know, get caught up with, is sitting up and just waiting for people to walk by. You know what I mean? Like, and waiting for them to walk by and just spewing crap at them. So,
especially the end of the month, right? At the end of the month, it gets worse. Like, we become hunters at the end of the month, right? It's like, oh, we got 2 Success Club points, and it's the 30th, and anybody that gets in my sights is going down, you know, and then it doesn't work. And then you're like, this doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. I love the waitress one. I've never actually heard that one either before. And I love that, how they like go and give coffee, and like the train thing. Like, yeah, it's so true. It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think that what happens is when you're thinking of it like that, and you really are, and that alone shows a lot of confidence, right? And what happens is people feel like they're missing out on something, right? Instead of being talked into something. You know the difference, right? When someone calls you on the phone to try to sell you something that you don't want, and they're trying to convince you that you need something that you don't think you need, right? And instead, it's more like looking across. Like, I'm thinking about one particular time where some guy called up and he wanted to know, you know, how my gutters were doing on my house. And I was like, I don't know. They seem fine to me. He's like, well, have you checked this and this and that? And he's trying to explain all these reasons why, like, the boards on the side of my house could fall off if I don't check this or that, you know? And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about my gutters right now, you know? Like, but if you looked across the street and you saw that your buddy over here was getting new gutters, and like they kept leaves out better than yours, and they did this and they did that, you might be like, I wonder what he's doing over there. Like, why is he getting new? You know, it's like totally different than somebody calling up. It's not something you want to talk about. You don't care, you know, and over there it's like, ooh, what's that? Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's a different mindset.
Yes, totally agree. Someone just asked a question. How long did it take for your mindset to shift to this kind of thinking?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess, you know, I think I probably had an advantage in the business over some people to start with, because I didn't need the money, and I was really doing it for passion. And I loved the things that I was doing so much that I wanted to share them with other people. And it wasn't so much that I actually switched my mindset to it, so much as I actually like codified it in my mind. Is that the right word? I don't know. But, you know, like it came together in my mind that that's what I was doing. It was like I was already doing it. And I think part of that was because I didn't have any kind of, you know, push that I've got to make money with this or I'm screwed, because I was an engineer and I was making decent money. I was doing it because I loved it. And so I would just tell people what I loved. And then later, as I started to try to teach a team how to do it, I was like, I think it slowly came to mind because of like what you were talking about, Alexa, where you talk to coaches and they're like, I can't convince anybody. And I sit back and think and be like, you know, I don't think I've ever tried to convince anybody. You know, and then I was like, well, why is that? And I just kind of started to put it together in my mind that I never have felt like I've convinced anybody of anything. I've just felt like I've offered people things. And then I was like, that's it. You offer people things. You don't convince them. You offer them something. Here's an offering of something. And then the trick is not to take it personally if they don't accept your offer, right? Because every time someone doesn't accept your offer and you take it personally, you lose confidence. But if you don't take it personally and you're like, they just didn't want coffee, then you don't lose any confidence. And the next time you invite, you're just as confident in your invite as the last one. But you talk to somebody who does want the offer, right? It's that go for no type of thing where like that's a mental switch that they use in go for no, is that I'm actually trying to get the no's, because then the no's don't erode your confidence, right? When you're trying to get no's, you're like, I know that every time I get 27 no's, I get a yes on number 28. So I'm at 24, and I think that's kind of silly in some sense, but the point of it is that it doesn't erode your confidence to get the no's if that's what you make your mind say I need is no's, right? So.
Agreed. I think that that's definitely something that just like what you said, I've never felt like I've had to convince people. I think that that's a big, I don't know. I totally agree. And honestly, when I first got started with coaching, I was the person who took the no's very personally. And just like Ryan said, when we take it personally, it lowers your confidence, and you don't want to, then the next invite is scarier, and you then all this fear grows, and, it just turns into this whole big mess. And so, honestly, I think that has been, something that I worked on when I first got started with coaching, you know what I mean? And it's having that mindset of, okay, they just didn't want the coffee. It's okay. It's all right. The world's not going to end.
I love what is it? Lana says on the chat is most people want coffee.
Yeah.
It's true. Most people do want coffee, just like most people want to be healthy. Alexa, were you there at the Super Saturday we did in Seattle at the what do they call it? The nice hall that we up in
hall. I think actually I was in California for that one.
Yeah, so Mike Ryan gave a talk there where he said, okay, are there any realtors in the audience? And there was 2 realtors in the whole audience, and we had 380 people there that day. And he was like, okay, 2 realtors. Now, how many people in here need to, we'll even throw in remortgage. How many people need to either buy, sell, or remortgage a house in the next 90 days? And there was surprisingly actually 11 people in the audience that needed, which was high. I thought that was a lot of people out of that to need to sell or refinance. And he was like, okay, 11 people, there's 2 realtors in here. If you were the 2 realtors, how would you find those 11 people at an event like this? How would you even come close to finding out that those 11 people need what you have, right, as a realtor? Super hard, right? You may not even meet those 11 people if you tried to meet everybody the whole day, right? He said, now how many people in here want to be healthy, want to get fit, want to look better, want to lose a little weight, it was a room of Beachbody coaches, but just about any room you do that in with 380 people, 350 of them are going to raise their hands, right? He's like, okay, how easy is this business? Right? You're a realtor, you've got 11 people out of 380, and we've got 350 out of 380 who would say, yes, I want to, get healthy. It's people want the coffee, right? Some people are going to say no to your brand of coffee, or they're going to say, no, I don't want any more coffee right now. That's okay. There's other people. There's someone else on Instagram right now who wants coffee, right?
Yep.
You gotta go offer them the coffee.
I love that. And I say that too. I say that often, in my my GSR calls with my new coaches. I say, if you were to go up to any person on the sidewalk and ask, do you want to get in better shape than you're in now? I doubt you will have somebody tell you no. And that's
right.
the thing, the amazing thing about what we offer. We offer health and fitness. Everybody needs that. There's no person that doesn't want to be healthier and more fit than they are right now. So, I just really think that once we realize that, and then also have this mindset shift, and then just take action on it, take this stuff, you guys, I'm seeing everybody's in the chat box, blowing up. This is turning on some light bulbs. That's amazing. But make sure that you take this stuff and you actually implement it. Get out there and actually start to do the invites, and start to offer the coffee to people, and offer people the seat next to you on the train, because I think that that's also, where the disconnect is. So make sure that you're not just taking in this information and having your light bulb moments, but take action on your light bulb moments, because I think that that's, so important. But yeah, this is awesome. This is really great. I really have enjoyed this call thoroughly, and so has our team. Does anybody else have any last minute questions or anything for Ryan before we close out, you guys? I've been seeing in the chat box, everyone's just been having some positive feedback from this call. So thank you again, Ryan. It's been really helpful.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I told you this is what I love to talk about, right? Because I think it's this whole subject, I think, is actually what makes people quit our business. It's also what can destroy our business if people are doing it wrong. And it's like I cringe every time I think of the people who have quit the business because they weren't good at sales. I'm like, no, you just needed a mindset shift. You just needed to know that you didn't have to be good at sales. You just needed to know that you needed to show people where you're going and invite them to go with you, And when people do this wrong and they try to find the sales techniques and all the things, the little tricks that are going to convince people, the tricks that are going to get people to buy, that's what ruins our business. That's why you have a little bit harder time, is because someone's done that to someone before. So don't do that to them. Create a relationship with them and they'll go, wow, really? You're not going to pull out like the one-liners, and you're not going to, no, I just, I'm just going to offer you what I have. If you don't want it, that's cool. And people are going to be like, what? This is crazy.
I love it. That's so true. No tricks. You don't need tricks. And that's why we honestly, like when we say this business isn't about sales, it's about the business. We're in the business of building relationships with people. We talk about that all the time on our team. So you just hammered that home and solidified that. I really appreciate it. I saw somebody said, where do you get your ideas for your challenge groups? Do you have any any tips for spicing up your challenge groups? Because I know you said you have some really good ideas for that.
Well, I like to focus on nutrition a lot because I feel like I've tried. In fact, I got stuck in a cycle at one point, because I've gone up and down and where, things have worked and things haven't worked. And at one point I can remember Hootsuite. I had Hootsuite decked out with 12 challenge groups going at one time, because I had a Turbo Fire challenge group, which I've never even done a Turbo Fire workout. I have no desire to ever do one. And, I had one going and I was running it out of the Beachbody challenge group guide, right? And I was Hootsuiting the challenge group guide, and I had a P90X group, and I had, an insanity group, and I had, I just would run a group for everything, and it was just generic. And I was like, I got the Beachbody challenge guides, I'll Hootsuite it. And I was like, this is not me, Any coach can do that and just Hootsuite the challenge group guides. People follow me because of me. Right? They don't if you're just going to Hootsuite the challenge group guides, why doesn't Beachbody just do that? Here's a group you can join and we'll Hootsuite out the challenge group guides to you. Right? I realize that what I've had the most success with is stuff that I do that's a little different. That's a little bit, just interesting. And it doesn't have to be super profound. It's just it's winter. So comfort food sounds good. So let's take, a few comfort food recipes and make them not quite so crappy and offer them to people. I think the next one we're going to do is a clean eating dessert challenge. So we're going to do 10 days of clean eating desserts. You can go find some, desserts out there. And then what we do now, and we haven't done this for very long, so this isn't proven for my team, but it's proven for other teams, is that basically what we're going to do at the end of the 10-day clean eating comfort food challenge is offer people a longer challenge with more recipes that require Shakeology. And they can either come or not. No one's forcing anybody. It's hey, a bunch of us are using Shakeology for breakfast. We're all going to go do another challenge, and we're going to do Shakeology for breakfast and these meals for dinner and see what happens, And then you can do the same thing with the clean eating dessert challenge. You can be 10 days of clean eating desserts, and then it's hey, we're going to do 14 days of clean eating desserts using Shakeology in all the desserts. Got to have Shakeology to be in this one. Come with me, But I like to focus on the nutrition for for one main reason, and that is because when you're that's the thing people have the hardest time with, first of all. So from just helping people perspective, you can help more people by focusing on nutrition, because more people struggle there than they do with the workouts. And it's a lot harder to figure out than the workouts. You can pick your workout program and they all pretty much work. Right. But nutrition is some person's out there counting calories, eating lean cuisines and drinking Diet Coke. And they're this is what we think is right. And they're wrong. Sorry if anybody's on here doing that, but it's that's the media telling you that that's how to lose weight, and that's not good for you. And so I focus on that with people and make sure that they know what real eating is. And then from a business perspective, it's way easier to upsell from Shakeology to a challenge pack than it is to upsell from a program to a challenge pack. Okay, 1,000 times easier. If somebody's in for $129.99 a month and you add $10, $20, $30, or $40 to get a workout program, they're yeah, heck yeah. And if they're in for $60 and you add $120 for Shakeology or $90 for Shakeology, they're like, whoa, what just happened to what just happened to this whole deal, right? So I always focus on the nutrition, get them on Shakeology, upgrade to a challenge pack. So from the business perspective, it's just always better to do nutrition too. So I think different ways to do nutrition groups, basically.
That's great. I love that. I really love that idea. And so do you run some sort of monthly free group every month usually?
Well, we just kind of started that idea. So that hasn't been a big thing for us. We've done a lot of free groups that are just kind of ongoing. And then we convert people to Shakeology and challenge packs through relationship rather than through like just, here's a challenge that kind of pushes them towards it. But we like the idea, starting this clean eating comfort food one of building a short relationship over 10 days and then offering the upgrade challenge. And I've seen a lot of coaches have a lot of success with that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to call that a proven thing for my team yet. So.
Yeah, no, but I think you're so right with what you said about the nutrition aspect. Like that's why pretty much 99% of the challenge packs I sell are 21-day fix, because nutrition is like by far the biggest thing that people struggle with. So I love that, taking nutrition and like just thinking of different ways to make it fun and making it exciting for people. Just like you said, like comfort food, dessert, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be super complicated. You could probably just go to Pinterest and find 5 clean eating dessert recipes and boom, there you go, So
exactly. It's not hard. Like, I mean, if you ever want to find clean eating recipes for anything, there's a place called thegrateuspantry.com. If you haven't heard of The Gracious Pantry, like go to The Gracious Pantry. She has a clean eating for anything that you can think of. Clean eating ranch dressing, clean eating barbecue sauce, clean eating pie crust, anything you want. She's got it on there. Just kind of take it, adapt it a little bit, give her credit for it, whatever, throw it in a document, tell people you're going to give them 5. I think we started brainstorming, since we had such a response to this comfort food one, and we were like, clean eating dessert. In the summer, like 5-day clean eating burger challenge, 5 epic burgers, whole wheat buns, like that kind of stuff. 5-day pizza challenge, do a cauliflower crust, a sweet potato crust, a whole wheat crust, different toppings, there's and fall, you do a crock pot challenge, you could do a freezer meal challenge. I mean, do 10 days and then be like, now we're going to do it with Shakeology in the morning. A bunch of us drink Shakeology. How many people want to do it? Now you'll have 2 meals taken care of out of the day, but you got to have Shakeology on this one.
Yes. I love that. I love it. It doesn't have to be like super complicated. Like really just kind of like think outside the box, you know what I mean? Or think about what people who are struggling to get on track with their nutrition, what kind of stuff, they would enjoy. Just like what you said, comfort food. Like if I was still like the person that I was 2 years ago, I think that a clean eating comfort food challenge, that would be right down my alley.
Yeah, exactly. Like yes. Like I can have macaroni and cheese. Yes.
Exactly. And like I used to be addicted to fast food. Like that's a big part of my story. I struggled hardcore with my Taco Bell addiction, seriously. And so I've even thought about this for myself, and I've never done it, but this is just giving me the ideas now to do like remix some Taco Bell like ideas. Which sounds crazy, but like I've literally seen a clean eating like cheesy gordita crunch before, and like clean eating like Crunchwrap Supreme. Exactly. You know what I mean? So like
you could totally do a clean eating fast food challenge and recreate several of your fast food things, and you go find the recipe out there just by Googling. You take it and give them credit, whatever, and then you go on, like, does everybody know about Canva?
Yes,
yeah?
Because I'm obsessed with it. Yes.
Okay, Canva, PicMonkey, whatever. Go on Canva and find like 3 of the most epic pictures that relate to what you're doing. Put a little text logo on there, like clean eating comfort food challenge. I know you guys are probably great with text and making the pictures look great, because if you're an Instagram team, then you probably do great pictures, right? So you just got to make the picture epic and be like, fast food challenge, clean eating fast food challenge, and it just looks awesome, and boom. Yeah.
When you can add value to people in those groups and like really just adding value, I think is one of the best ways for you to then be able to like, once you then offer Shakeology and say, hey, we're going to keep going in this group, those of you that want to come join us, I feel like, you know what I mean? Once they have all this free content from you and this free, you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting these results in just 5 days. Like, of course they're going to want to keep going with you. You know what I mean? So I love it.
Right.
It's been really
what we'll do in the in like the 10-day group with the comfort food is what I've been doing is posting videos about what clean eating means. And so we give them just tons of value. Like I talk about the difference between what's on nutrition facts labels and what's on ingredients lists, you know, because like clean eating, what you're really looking at is ingredients lists, right? You're looking for all the ingredients being things that you can pronounce, you know, and that makes a bigger difference than, oh, this has 13 grams of sugar. It's like, yeah, but where did the sugar come from? I want to look at the ingredients, right? And so I teach people that, and they're like seriously, people don't know this stuff. They really don't. Like most people just don't know that about nutrition, that the ingredients are king, and it's not all about the macros and all this kind of stuff. And so that's what I teach them in the group, and people are just like, wow. And when you build that kind of trust level with people where they're like, wow, he's taught me all this stuff. Then when you say you should try Shakeology, they go, I should? Yeah. And they go, okay. Because they're like, well, the last thing he told me seemed pretty cool. You know, he provided a bunch of value, and so this must be valuable too, right? It works like that.
Completely. This has been so helpful for me too. I'm kind of getting ideas for myself. So this is awesome, you guys. I'm really like enjoying all of these comments in the chat box. Ryan, everyone's like,
they're all like trying to make
this guy's awesome. So
they're making Big Mac, clean eating Big Mac recipes over here or something.
I love it.
We're about to post it in the T page.
Clean eating Big Mac. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you guys, if you don't have any other last minute questions, you know, we're going to wrap it up. We're coming up on an hour here, so don't want the recording to be too long. But just want to say thanks again, Ryan, for taking your time to be on our call and share your wisdom with us. This has been super helpful. A lot of the coaches, like I said, are like going off in the chat box, super excited. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would ask for everybody, hopefully this doesn't sound too jerky, but like I'm getting like somewhere around 3,500 friends on Facebook. And I know usually after I do these team calls, I get a lot of friend requests, which is really cool. But if you guys could just hit follow instead, because like I've got 800 people to put in a dessert challenge next month. And I want to keep my friend spots open for those people. And you guys will get to that point sometime too, where you're like, you know, I need my friend spots. In fact, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have to start kicking some of the coaches that friend me from Super Saturdays off, unfortunately, just because I need the space. So look forward to that when you have that problem. And just click follow, and you can always message me. I always check my message requests and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to just send a message, go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Is that cool?
Yes. Good tip. That same thing happens to me. I always like my friend requests blow up after I speak on other team calls. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and I've always accepted them in the past. You know, it's getting to where it's like, oh, I'm going to hit this 5,000 here soon, and then how do I do that?
Yeah, for sure. Totally understandable. It's all good. But thank you again so much for taking time to speak with us. This has been really great. I think that everyone has thoroughly enjoyed listening to you. So thanks again.
Is there one more question though? I think is there another question?
Oh, is there? Am I like going through? Sorry. Let me see really quick. Random. You can keep short and sweet. But so is the Instagram reach out messaging not something you really do to build your business?
I've built my business 100% on Facebook. I have not done like anything on Instagram. I have dabbled in Instagram here and there, and sometimes, but like when I first started on Instagram, I just like was like, "Are you on Facebook?" And I just moved people over to Facebook. I don't know how to use Instagram well. Like I'm learning, but yeah, I haven't really built my business on Instagram at all. And I have Pinterest, and I've used Pinterest, but I don't really build there. I have Twitter, and all my Facebook posts go to Twitter, but I don't build there either. It's all Facebook. So
yeah, it's kind of cool to hear. Like you can see, you guys, like you don't have to be doing one thing or the other. Like I can honestly say that I've built 90% of my business through Instagram, and you know, yeah, I still use Facebook, but the people that I talk to on Facebook are people that I've gotten to my Instagram. You know what I mean? So Anyways, I think, oops, is my internet freezing? Sorry, guys. But thanks again. I'm going to finish or stop the recording. But thank you again, Ryan, for speaking with us and for sharing all of your nuggets. And yeah, this has been a really great call. So I'll be sure to upload this and post on the team page for anybody that wasn't on. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks again for everybody for being on live. Actually, let's take a picture really quick, you guys. Hold on. Sorry, I'm going to be that coach that's going to take pictures. Okay, so everybody get in there and be nice and smiling. And I have to do two because we have 2 pages. Okay?
Did you stop the recording?
Oh, yes. Sorry.